Hello, everybody. Are we back?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Dwayne, did you connect?
Yes, I'm
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Uh, has Patrick Henry, are y'all there?
They weren't. They weren't there for the first class.
Yeah,
I
they
guess.
were going to the supposed to have been there at the or they had that exam scheduled
Yeah.
today in the plant science. Yeah, his wife had surgery, but they had an exam scheduled.
Yeah. There. I just looked in their room and it looks the same. Like nobody's there still.
Well, that's fine. He can we can put it in the testing center for you. Uh, is everybody, you guys at South Side and Keysville, have you done your ration balancing assignment and got it to me yet?
Yes, sir. Did you get my email?
Uh, about which one?
The ration and balancing?
Yeah, I put your grade in there this morning. Uh, I'm trying to think. I've got some that's missing, and I don't know if they're at Patrick Henry or where they're at. I'm thinking, I don't know, not everybody's turned them in. And uh, I wish you would, because it'll help you. Uh, so if you haven't done that yet, please get it to me. Uh, because you don't want to get a zero for it. So check your blackboard, and if you have a grade out there, I've gotten it and I've graded it. And if you have a zero out there, that means I haven't gotten anything from you. And so I put a zero in there. The only thing I don't have graded are this last quiz, this quiz that I just made available to you Tuesday morning. Uh, I don't, I haven't checked those to get any of those graded yet. I was just going to wait and grade them all at one time Sunday. And
Which
so
I just looked. At least four of the people missing are my Southside people, and I think almost all of them are online people. I'll send out a nice email to them here in a few minutes.
okay, but I will give you a grade if you turn it in late. Uh, may not be, you know, I'll start you off with a B, but it's still better than a zero. Uh, but I would like to have your deal in. Patrick Henry, are y'all connected yet? I need you guys to speak up.
Which their room is connected. I did see
Yeah,
that.
but they don't have it cut on yet. I don't think.
No, it's cut on. I scrolled over and I'm like looking at their that speaker that they have on the wall when the camera's turned on, and they have it turned away. So the room is connected. I'm suspicious they're just not in there.
All right, let me give Megan a call. I got her number. Hey, Megan, it's me, Dwayne. Give me a call. Bye. She didn't answer.
I'm adjusting their camera in there. There's nobody in the room, but it is connected. I hope they didn't misunderstand and think you didn't have class today.
Well, John made it pretty clear that we would have class today. For animal science, it would just be as normal, and that Megan would cut on the equipment. So, he made that real plain to them. So, if they don't show up, it'll be their loss. They'll have to just watch it on video, unfortunately.
The light in the classroom just cut on.
Okay, I can't see it until they speak. Uh,
At least three people walked.
For the first day.
At least three people walked in. They must have had the door locked. Welcome, Patrick Henry.
Oh my God.
Girl, we can't see anything.
Yeah, we can't see y'all, but we hear y'all.
Hold up. Where's the stream button?
Oh my God.
Megan will cut it on for you.
Yeah, it is. He's not here.
Danny will cut it on for me.
Wait a minute. Something's coming up. Yeah, slowly but surely. Oh my God. Okay. I don't think that's his site though. Wait, that's one of the class.
3 inches between
That's
them.
we can see Tom's class.
Bristol said it was.
I guess they can hear us.
Yes, we can hear you. Y'all screen's blacked out on our end too, but
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Megan. Something happened with Megan's family. She can't make it today, and I don't know how to tell you guys to cut on that screen.
Listen, we can hear you. Yeah. I mean, we can see Tom's class.
Well, I've got another video I wanted to show you guys. I don't know how. See, you're black. I can't.
Okay, now we can see you. We can
Y'all
see you
can see me
now.
now.
Yes.
All right. Well, y'all can see me, and you can see Tom. I just can't see you guys. But I can deal with that. It'll be all right. As long as you can see me, because then you can see the computer. Now, do y'all have any questions regarding the? Well, first off, let me back up a second. For those of you that haven't submitted your ration balancing assignment, please do so. I will give you a grade. For those that, it's better than getting a 0. So please turn that in. So that's 20 points or 15 points. It can really help you guys out, and it should. I don't want it to hurt you. So please submit your assignment as soon as possible. I do have grades up there on Blackboard, so if you have a 0 to that assignment, then I don't have it, and I don't have the grade. So. Let me see. Hello. Yeah. Sorry. Listen, to make sure you get that ration balancing assignment turned in, I won't give you an A on it. I'll start off with the B and go from there. But make sure you get that turned in, guys, because you don't want to 0 out there on your grade. Now, the other thing, do y'all have any questions over reproduction and the hormonal the hormones we discussed Tuesday in class. But I will give you on the final exam, you will have a lot of these questions regarding the hormones and where they originate from. Like I think I gave you an example of you know what what are the two structures on the ovary, or what two structures form on the ovaries that produce hormones. So you would tell me the corpus luteum and it produces progesterone. You'd also tell me the follicle and it produces estrogen. Uh, so you need to know these hormones and what they interact with and how they make them. And so make sure you complete that chart and refer back to your book, refer back to the video, taping of it. You may not, I don't know if you'll see the video on the recording, but at least you can hear it. So make sure you get that completed. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today is how we use these hormones to manipulate the estrous cycle so that we can synchronize a cow or a sheep to be bred. And to some extent, we use some of these hormones in horses as well to keep them from coming in show horses. When they come into heat, they can be a little testy. We can give them progesterone so they don't to delay that heat cycle. If we got a show coming up and they're we can also put a marble in their uterus so it makes them think they're pregnant. So there's things we can do with horses, and we can also give them lutolites to bring them in their cycle. So this next video that I'm going to show is going to discuss these hormones that are used to regulate estrous cycles, and it'll tell you why they work. So you got some of that from Tuesday's video, like prostaglandin, on why it works. It makes the corpus luteum to stress and quit producing progesterone. When that progesterone's not there, then that tells the brain to release DNR8 and DNR8 tells the pituitary to release FSH. FSH is released and the follicle grows, and that produces the follicle produces estrogen, and then when it gets big enough to ovulate, then LH is released and it ovulates over it. So you got a little bit of that from that video the other day. So what I want you to do today will be the same thing. Take out a piece of paper and take your chart. Put it exactly there. Can you guys at Patrick Henry see this?
Yeah, sir.
And don't worry about the signs. You should have put the signs in estrus. You should have wrote that down the other day. And what did y'all write down for what are signs of estrus and heat in cattle? How can you tell when a cow's in heat? What are some of those signs?
The red swollen vulva. She allows other cows to mount her.
Yeah, that's the big one. When a cow's standing for another cow to mount her, she's in. Yeah, and like you said, you also look for that red swollen vulva, a clear discharge out of the vulva. They'll be walking the fence and bawling. They'll try to mount other cows. The ones that are, what my experience with it from my hours upon endless hours of watching cows, pulling those to be bred AI. It's like the cows that are mounting other cows, but will not stand to be mounted. It's like those cows will be in heat next day. Will be in heat that heat. You know, about 12 hours, 12 to 18 hours later. So trying to mount other cows, to me, you know, I'm gonna write that number down and I'm gonna check her out this evening and see if she's standing to be mounted. So that's a sign. To me, that's a sign that they're getting close to so restlessness, you know, walking the fence line, hauling, red swollen vulva, clear discharge, standing to be mounted. Those are your classics that you lose. So go ahead and give that chart copy, and as we watch this video, y'all fill it in, and then we will discuss it. Let me know when you got that done. Everybody got that completed? You guys at Patrick Henry got it completed?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All right. We'll watch this
The primary factor affecting the profitability of any animal breeding enterprise is reproduction. Other than nutrition, the most powerful tool at the beef producer's disposal that significantly impacts reproductive performance is estrus synchronization. Although historically promoted as a labor-saving tool for those producers who want to capitalize on the superior genetics available through artificial insemination, many producers have come to realize that the greatest economic returns from estrus synchronization are a result of more timely and efficient reproductive management. The basics of beef cattle reproductive management dictate that cows are bred during a defined breeding season. This allows calving to occur when the weather is conducive to high rates of calf survival. Controlling the time of calving is also an important part of matching the seasonal availability of grass and forage with the peak lactation demands imposed by the growing calf.
And guys, right there, that is important. So you may want to make note of that, why we want to define breeding season. So, you know, 'cause in real life, you know, this is real life, guys. You want your cows to calve very close together. You want to match that up. You know, ideally, you don't want to calve in the list. Sometimes you can't help it. You also want to match it up with your forage, whether you have a fall calving program or a spring program. What works for you, but having We want a 40 face gradual. Nice.
Not only is it important to maintain short breeding seasons of grass and forage with the peak lactation demands imposed by the growing calf. Not only is it important to maintain short breeding and calving seasons, but it's also extremely important that a high percentage of the herd conceives early in the breeding season. Cows require time to recover from the stress of calving before they can be expected to rebreed. Cows that calve early will have more days postpartum when the next breeding season begins, and will be more likely to have resumed normal estrus cycles and fertility. Once a cow calves late, she will be short postpartum when the next breeding season begins and predisposed to reduced fertility. Thus, without estrus synchronization, she will likely continue to conceive later and later until she must eventually be culled from the herd. Not only does estrus synchronization facilitate early conception in the cycling cows, but many protocols are also therapeutic treatments to jumpstart cyclicity in these late calving or anestrus cows. Cows that calve early will produce calves that weigh more at weaning simply because they are older. At 2 pounds per day of calf growth, times 90 cents per pound, each day older a calf is at weaning means an additional $1.80 in your pocket. Moving a cow up 1 week is worth $12.60 per head in calf weaning weight. A calf conceived on the first day of a 60-day breeding season will be worth $108 more than one conceived on the last day. Replacement heifers kept from early calving cows will be older at the beginning of their first breeding season and more likely to have reached puberty and targeted breeding weights, while heifers kept from late calving cows will be younger and predisposed to reproductive problems. In a herd that does not use synchronization, only 1/3 of the cycling animals can be expected to display estrus during the first week of the breeding season. Whether inseminated naturally or artificially, only 65 to 70% can be expected to conceive to a given insemination. Therefore, after a week of breeding to natural heats, no more than 23% of the eligible animals can be expected to be pregnant. Considering the fact that even in well-managed herds, as many as 25 to 50% of the cows will not be cycling at the beginning of the breeding season, this estimate is very generous. In contrast, many estrus synchronization protocols can induce 70 to 90% of the cycling cows and as many as 50% of the anestrus cows to display a fertile estrus within a 5-day period. With conception rates equal to or greater than those of natural heats, it is typical for many synchronization protocols to result in 45 to 55% of the herd pregnant by the end of the first week of the breeding season. Several fixed-time AI options are available that result in 40 to 50% of the herd pregnant following a single day of breeding, with 0 hours spent for heat detection. Cows that display estrus early will have 3 opportunities to conceive during an 8-week breeding season, compared to only 2 chances for cows that don't show heat until after the 2nd week. Because of increased estrus intensity in synchronized groups of cows, fewer heats are at risk of going undetected. Cows that do not display estrus after synchronization may not be cycling. Early identification and treatment of problem cows is essential to get them rebred in a timely fashion. Even in the best management scenarios, first calf heifers can be difficult to settle. Heifers that experienced calving problems due to a heavy birth weight calf are nearly impossible to rebreed. Breeding virgin heifers to proven calving ease sires 3 weeks prior to the cow herd reduces the incidence of costly calving problems and allows additional recovery time before the next breeding season. Also, when heifers calve during a short synchronized calving season, it is easy to provide labor to assist with difficult births and reduce the incidence of early calf mortality. Most benefits of estrus synchronization are a function of improved reproductive performance. The fact that estrus synchronization also facilitates the use of superior genetics from proven AI sires is just icing on the cake. In reality, the economic benefits available through AI alone pale in comparison to the return on investment when estrus synchronization and AI are used together as a reproductive management tool. The foundation hormone of nearly all estrus synchronization protocols is the naturally occurring hormone prostaglandin. Most commonly known by the brand names of Lutalize, Estramate, and Prostamate, prostaglandins bring cows into heat by destroying the CL of cycling animals. The major limitation of prostaglandins is that they are only effective in animals that possess a CL. Therefore, cows within 6 to 7 days of a previous heat, prepubertal heifers, and anestrus cows do not respond to prostaglandin injections. Prostaglandins can often be used quite efficiently in cycling heifers. However, because of the high incidence of anestrus, even in well-managed herds, prostaglandins alone are generally not recommended for postpartum suckled beef cows. The most common method of synchronization with prostaglandin is to inject all heifers and breed those who come into heat over the next 5 to 7 days. Heifers not detected in estrus after the first injection are re-injected 14 days later and bred to detected estrus over the next 5 to 7 days. If labor is a limiting factor, all heat detection and breeding can be delayed until after the second prostaglandin injection. Although historic recommendations were to inject prostaglandin at 11-day intervals, the 14-day interval is simpler to schedule and slightly more effective. A lower-cost alternative is to breed heifers to natural heats for 6 days and inject the remaining heifers with prostaglandin and continue to breed over the next 5 to 7 days. This system allows all cycling heifers to be bred during a 2-week interval. Because prostaglandin only affects the CL and does nothing to control follicular development, considerable variation exists in the interval from injection to estrus. Therefore, attempts to fixed-time inseminate following prostaglandin alone seldom result in acceptable pregnancy rates. A time-tested and proven method for synchronizing estrus in virgin heifers is the MGA-PGF protocol. MGA stands for melangestrol acetate, a synthetic form of the hormone progesterone. Mix MGA into a grain supplement and feed at a rate of 1/2 milligram per head per day for 14 days. Within 3 to 5 days after MGA feeding, many heifers will display estrus. Do not breed at this heat, as conception rates are reduced. Wait 17 to 19 days after the last day of MGA feeding and inject all heifers with a single dose of prostaglandin. For best results, breed heifers 8 to 12 hours after detected estrus for the next 5 to 7 days. If heat detection is not an option, reasonably good pregnancy rates have been achieved by single fixed-time inseminations at 60 to 72 hours after PGF. A third option is to breed heifers to detected estrus for 3 days after PGF, then fixed-time AI the remaining heifers at 72 to 80 hours. With good heat detection of well-managed heifers at the proper age, weight, and body condition, synchronized AI pregnancy rates usually range between 50 and 70%. Pregnancy rates to fixed-time AI alone using the MGA-PGF system will likely be 5 to 15 percentage points lower than heat detection-based options. Recent advances in our understanding of regulation and control of follicular dynamics in cattle have led to the development of tremendously more effective and precise methods of estrus synchronization for postpartum cows. Most of these protocols operate from the same basic foundation, which involves an injection of GnRH followed 7 days later with an injection of prostaglandin. More popularly known by the commercial brand names of Fertigil, Factrel, and Cisterellin, GnRH causes a surge of luteinizing hormone to be released from the pituitary gland. This surge of LH causes ovulation or luteinization of dominant follicles present on the ovaries at the time of injection, which in turn results in the development of an accessory CL. The accessory CL stimulates progesterone production, which helps to induce cyclicity in anestrus cows, and removal of the dominant follicle synchronizes the initiation of a new follicular wave 2 to 3 days later. Injecting cows with GnRH and prostaglandin at a 7-day interval synchronizes both follicular development and luteal regression. The simplest GnRH PGF protocol is SelectSync. With this system, heat detection begins 24 to 48 hours before the PGF injection to catch those early heats and continues for the next 5 to 7 days. Cows are inseminated 8 to 12 hours after observed estrus. In most herds, 65 to 75% of SelectSync treated cows will display estrus within 72 hours after prostaglandin injection. This facilitates the use of a second breeding option. In option 2, cows are inseminated to detected estrus until 60 hours after PGF. At 72 hours, the remaining cows are fixed-time inseminated, and those that have not displayed estrus are also given an injection of GnRH to induce ovulation. This option maximizes potential conception rates by breeding the majority of the herd to standing heats, while the 72-hour mass AI limits estrus detection and still gives every cow the opportunity to conceive. Labor requirements are reduced by 2 or 3 days compared to option 1, and hormone usage is considerably reduced compared to other fixed-time AI protocols. With either option, synchronized AI pregnancy rates in well-managed beef herds typically range between 45 and 55%. OVSync is a fixed-time AI protocol that is used extensively in dairy cattle. OVSync builds on the basic GnRH PGF format with a second injection of GnRH 48 hours after prostaglandin. This second GnRH injection induces ovulation of the dominant follicle recruited after the first GnRH injection. All cows are then mass inseminated without estrus detection at 8 to 18 hours after the second GnRH injection. Although OVSync works as well in beef cattle as it does in dairy, the protocol requires 4 trips through the working chute. This is of minimal concern to the dairy producer, but a trip through the chute is often a significant physical and economic event in many beef herds. Researchers at Colorado State University demonstrated that comparable pregnancy rates can be achieved with only 3 trips through the chute, and all cows are inseminated at 48 hours after PGF, coinciding with a second GnRH injection. Thus, the name CoSync. Most research regarding the CoSync protocol inseminated cows at 48 hours after PGF. However, a 60 to 64-hour interval, as prescribed by OVSync, more closely matches estrus synchrony data obtained following SelectSync treatment. Although OVSync and CoSync can achieve pregnancy rates greater than 50% in beef cattle, overall averages are more often in the 40 to 45% range. However, to keep these numbers in perspective, OVSync and CoSync create equal or greater numbers of pregnancies in a single day than natural service can generate in 2 to 3 weeks. The MGA Select protocol is an outstanding choice to maximize synchronized AI pregnancy rates in postpartum beef cows. As in the previously described heifer program, cows are fed MGA at a rate of 1/2 milligram per head per day for 14 days. Within 3 to 5 days of the end of MGA feeding, cows will begin to display estrus. Do not breed at this heat, as conception rates are reduced. Wait 12 days after the last day of MGA feeding and initiate the SelectSync protocol. Insemination options include 5 to 7 days of heat detection and AI, 72 to 80 hours of heat detection followed by mass AI and GnRH to non-responders, or simply fixed time AI and GnRH at 72 hours after PGF. In study after study, the MGA Select protocol has proven itself to be a very effective means to synchronize postpartum beef cows, often achieving synchronized pregnancy rates in excess of 60%, using both estrus detection and timed AI-based options. The major limitation of the long-term MGA Select protocol is the duration of treatment. With 33 days from start to finish, some cows may not have calved by the time you're ready to start feeding MGA. However, these late calving cows need some form of synchronization to jumpstart cyclicity and catch them up. The following are shorter duration protocols that may help keep these late calvers in the herd. The Easy Breed Cedar is the most recently approved product for synchronization of estrus in cattle. The Cedar, as it's commonly called, is a T-shaped vaginal insert that delivers the natural hormone progesterone. Cows and heifers receive the Cedar on day 0 and Lutalice on day 6 or 7, with Cedar removal always occurring on day 7. Females are bred 8 to 12 hours after observed estrus for the next 3 to 5 days, or at a single fixed time 48 to 64 hours after Cedar removal. Numerous research trials indicate an injection of GnRH at Cedar insertion may further improve synchronized reproductive performance, especially among anestrus cows. In other words, pregnancy rates of the many popular GnRH PGF protocols, such as OffSync, CoSync, and SelectSync, are often improved by inserting the Cedar at GnRH injection and removing the Cedar at the Lutalice injection on day 7. In each of these large-scale field trials, the GnRH Cedar treatment tended to result in greater pregnancy rates than either the Cedar or GnRH PGF alone. In 2 of these studies, the effects of the CoSync protocol with and without the Cedar was determined for both cycling and non-cycling cows. In both studies, the magnitude of the advantage for the CoSync plus Cedar treatment was greater in the non-cycling than in the cycling cows. The single most important factor affecting the success of any estrus synchronization protocol is the percentage of animals cycling at the initiation of treatment. For the beginner, the first 2 years of synchronization and AI are going to be the most difficult to implement, primarily because of the extended calving season, characteristic of most natural service herds. Some early calving cows will be ready for breeding long before some of the late cows have calved. This may require multiple synchronization groups and some tough culling decisions in the early years. Do not be afraid to push the envelope on some of those late calving groups and breed them as early as 30 to 40 days after calving. Obviously, you must be prepared to accept lower reproductive performance within these groups of cows. However, using synchronization and AI to induce cyclicity and generate pregnancies in timely fashion will be much more profitable than leaving the job to the herd bull. As a higher percentage of cows calve earlier in each successive calving season, the reproductive potential and profitability of your herd will likewise grow exponentially. The nutrition program is also critical if high rates of cyclicity are to be achieved prior to the breeding season. Good managers will feed cows to achieve moderate or better body condition by the time of calving. Supplemental energy during the stressful period of early lactation will help to minimize body condition loss. Regular use of body condition scoring will help ensure the nutrition program is allowing for optimum reproductive performance in your herd. The suckling stimulus of a nursing calf extends the duration of postpartum anestrus in cattle. Early weaning of calves provides an excellent means to improve the cycling status of the average beef herd. When initiated at the time of PGF injection of any synchronization protocol, 48-hour calf removal will often improve estrus response rates by about 10%. Work with your veterinarian to maintain an intensive herd health and vaccination program that addresses all diseases of relevant concern. Vaccinate cows at least 3 weeks ahead of the synchronization and breeding period to allow adequate time for the immune system to respond and provide protection from the diseases in question. First calf heifers, late calving cows, difficult births, and retained placentas are all associated with reduced fertility. Group these high-risk animals separately so maximum nutrition, veterinary care, and TLC can be efficiently provided. The success of any synchronization protocol that requires MGA feeding depends on adequate bunk space and proper feeding rates. Double-check the actual concentration of MGA in the supplement to ensure appropriate mixing. Consumption rates can be more precisely controlled by thoroughly mixing MGA into 3 to 5 pounds of grain and feeding separately rather than as a top dressing or as part of a TMR. Always use some type of estrus detection aid to improve the efficiency of your heat detection program. These devices also facilitate identification of cows that should or should not receive GnRH injections in conjunction with fixed-time AI. Before synchronizing cows, make sure adequate labor will be available for heat detection and breeding, and that each person is adequately trained for their assigned task. Recheck the semen tank and breeding kit to ensure adequate quantities of semen and that all necessary breeding supplies are in your possession. Make sure cattle handling facilities are in proper working order and safe for both man and beast. The profitability of any beef production enterprise hinges on sound reproductive management. Although estrus synchronization has always been a valuable tool to the beef producer, recently developed protocols provide opportunities to impact reproductive performance as never before. In the process, these protocols also facilitate the use of artificial insemination, which further improves profitability through use of superior, proven genetics. If you have further questions regarding use of estrus synchronization as a reproductive management tool in your herd, contact your local Select Sires member co-op. Our experienced and knowledgeable
What do you guys think about that?
Not real sure what hormones we were supposed to write down.
Okay, two people were speaking at once. I didn't. What did you say, ma'am?
I said I'm not real sure what hormones we were supposed to write down. The same ones from yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did have prostaglandin,
GnRH,
GnRH, and what's the third one?
Ovocent, no. Progesterone,
That was a method. The third one was progesterone. And the two ways we can give that are the cedars or the MGA. Now, just so we're clear, because you will have an exam question on it. I will ask you, what are the 3 hormones used in synchronization? So what are you going to tell me?
prostaglandin, GnRH, and progesterone.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you, what do each of these hormones do? Why do we use them? So, why do we use prostaglandin?
It brings them into heat.
That's not going to work. I'll count that one wrong. What's its specific mode? Why does it work? What does it do? It destroys the CL. Okay. What about GnRH? Why does it work? What does it do? about. All right, what am I looking for? Come on, guys. Let's get more specific other than stimulate the follicle. What does it do? Where's GnRH? What does GnRH do?
It's in the hypothalamus.
Okay. What? It stimulates what? It,
It releases it.
yeah, what is it? No, Lutelyse is a drug. GnRH is a hormone. It's produced by the hypothalamus in the brain. And it stimulates the pituitary gland to release what two hormones?
LH and FSH.
Right, LH and FSH. So the LH causes, that surge in LH causes ovulation, and then you have the formation of a corpus luteum to form because of the GnRH. Not for this, I'm going to test how much. These questions will be discussion questions, guys. All right? You better know your stuff, because you're going to tell me what you know and what you don't know. So, GnRH stimulates the pituitary to release LH and FSH. But that LH is mainly what we're concerned about, because it'll cause ovulation and a formation of a corpus luteum. Okay. Now, what about progesterone? What does it?
Prepares the uterus for pregnancy.
Okay, it prepares the uterus for pregnancy. Why do we give it?
Prepares what?
Either in the vaginal implant, form of the fetus, or through feeding. What is the purpose other than for preparing the fetus for pregnancy? What's the purpose for it? For estrus? Okay.
It stops.
What it does, it creates a false CL. Okay. I know we're making that cow form a corpus luteum by giving it GnRH. But if that cow is in estrus, he's not cycling, or if you have a virgin heifer that's not cycling, it's in estrus, they have to have a progesterone priming in order to start. It's kind of like really, if you have an old tractor, an old diesel tractor, and it's 0 degrees out there, you have to go shoot some ether in it, get it cranked, or plug it up. Well, that's what this progesterone does. We're either feeding it or doing that vaginal implant and giving them that progesterone to jumpstart that cycle. So if the cow's is in estrus, we're giving it the progesterone. So what we have done with the GnRH and the cedar, pretty much now, most producers are using the GnRH and the cedars, and then when they pull the cedars out, they're giving the prostaglandin injection. They're doing that for heifers as well as for cows. It's just so much easier. I don't know if you guys have been around or been tried to feed that MGA before, but it's tough. You got to make sure everything comes in and is there at the bunch before you even feed them. And you got to have plenty of bunk space. You have to have it mixed properly, and you just got to ensure that everything eats it, or else you've wasted your time. And so it's a pain. It's a hassle. So the seeders are awesome. You can just run them in the chute, put that seeder in them, give them a shot of GnRH, and put that seeder in them, and they've got that progesterone, and they got the GnRH, and then you run them back through the chute, yank out the seeders, give them a shot of GnRH, and then, 50, 60 hours later, you run them through there, or 40, I don't remember the hours, I can't keep it all straight. You run them in there and time inseminate them, and it works great. We've gotten, gosh, last time I did that, we got like 90% conception. We just did not, the bulls weren't very happy. They didn't get to do their job. But, I was better for us because all of our calves, we had a 60-day calving season. And 90% of the cows were calving in 30 days. And then the remainder calved within another 15 days after that. So I was, we ran a tight ship. It was not. But for those cows that are cycling, and when you give them that GnRH, if they're in the luteal phase, they have a corpus luteum. You're not going to get rid of that corpus luteum. So to prevent them from coming into heat in that time period, that seeder is acting like a CL for that. So for the group of cows that are cycling, that seeder is a false CL to keep them from coming into heat. For those that aren't, it's that progesterone. Does that make sense? Can you answer that question now? So when you I ask you the 3 hormones and you tell me GnRH because it causes a surge of LH. It causes the formation of the corpus luteum. Prostaglandin, you're creating a false CL, and for the anestrus cattle, you're doing a progesterone priming, and then the prostaglandin will make the CL regress. I just told you an answer for your final exam. I hope you're paying attention. Nobody should miss that, correct? Trevor? Still there? Trevor?
Yes, sir.
All right, is that what y'all use on your farm?
No, sir. We use bulls.
Okay. Who was the guy beside of you? They use that, right?
Yeah, they do a whole lot of artificial breeding and stuff. He's not here today. He's getting ready for the bull sale tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he seemed pretty familiar with this. So hopefully that'll increase his understanding of those drugs and why it works. And be more, when you understand this a little better, it tends to make you do a better job. You understand how this works. So now, do you guys understand why I stress nutrition so much after watching these 2 videos? Why I had you balancing rations? Guys, if you don't get your females pregnant, you're going to be out of business. It's that simple. And that nutrition, reproduction go hand in hand. So, and that Same thing with sheep, pigs, horses. You've got to feed your animals properly in order for them to reproduce. So, do you have any questions about reproduction? I will ask you about the hormones, where they originate from, what's their target, what's the interactions with some other hormones. We learned that from the first video. I will definitely ask you, what does that question I just asked you, what are the 3 hormones we use in reproduction and why? What do they do? I'm not going to ask you the drug name. I'm not going to ask you what's Ovasync, Co-Sync, and Select Sync. I can't keep that stuff straight. I'm not going to ask you to do it. And the other thing about it, they're always experimenting and doing stuff. It's changed. When I first got into this, when I was in college, the methods we used, we thought, well, when I was in high school, we thought legalizing. And then we got into, legalizing. And then they had this other method they used. They don't even use it. But it was a implant we put in the ear, and it was progesterone implant. You put that implant in the ear like you do a growth implant. You had to come in there and cut that implant out. Give it progesterone. They don't even use that, but it's those same 3 hormones: progesterone, well, what's being made, but it was progesterone, estrogen, prostaglandin. As our technology got better and we found out, understood about GnRH synthesized, we that it can make it. And we forgot about estrogen. We're going GnRH because this stuff is cure all. It worked for me. When I first started at Stewart, we would feed those heifers from DA for 14 days. Yeah, when we shot a Ludolite, we would eat pick for about 2 weeks. Until the left, give them another shot of prostaglandin and eat them. We did the cows. We did the cows the same way. And where the farm that I'm, we did not have, we just didn't. It was a mountain farm, 12,000 made up from that. Only we would bring the cattle down, all had the hay field so we would keep the cattle out. But we picked out the 100 best cows after calving, and that was based on production record. Those were the ones that we would and we would put them in this one boundary. It wasn't on the hay. We had to get them off the hay. And it was probably a couple of 100-acre boundary. And we would feed them because there still wasn't a lot of grass. And we kept them there until it was time to start doing, because everything else we kicked out on the mountain. But we kept them there and continued to feed them until June when we bred. That was the beginning of our breeding season. We wanted a large calf for our cows. So we kept them there in that boundary to June, so we had to continue to feed them. And come June, when we started the MGA, I would have to ride that boundary. I'd take my dog, my horse, and I'd spend 2 to 3 hours gathering in all those cows. We'd go down there and call them with the tractor, and call them through there, and then shut the gate down through the gate. I'd spend 2 or 3 hours. But, it's what I did every day for 2 weeks. It's a pain in the butt. The cedars are the best thing. And then once we finish that, once those 2 weeks were over, we'd bring them before we gave them the shot, or when we brought them up, and gave them the shot of Lutalice or the prostaglandin after 19 days of feeding that, we would pull those calves off for 48 hours. We did the 48-hour calf removal, and then we bred the calf. So things have gotten a whole lot easier with these seeders. They're seeders. I was there when DNR8 first came out, and so when we bred so many cows AI, we had to follow their protocol because we were part of this problem. We were like, wow, we can't believe it. Especially when we get all the pregnancy. It's unbelievable. It made my life so much easier because, I didn't have to eat. But anyway, that's just some of my story. I got inside. These feeders. When we use them for sheep, you can use them for sheep now. They make a smaller version of the cedar to be used in sheep. If you think back when we talked about sheep production, a lot of the wool breed. Well, we could, Greg here in Southwest, they raise a lot. Y'all use these wool breeds are salmon and that have been salmon in the springtime. They're breeding. They're fall or late winter. So it's working great for them. So it's a pretty neat deal. Good deal. When do y'all try to? So he's having success with his Gulf and his Dorset. Okay. Do y'all have any questions over anything we've covered to this point? Nutrition, or if you have any questions, y'all our classes end next week, guys, right? We've got 2 more classes, Tuesday and Thursday.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I've gotten covered, all the way through chapter 15. I think we've got like 7. Had it. We've got 2 more classes. What would you like for me to cover? This is your choice. What do you want me to go over the next?
Could we get a briefing of just a few chapters, just like the important stuff in the chapters, and a few.
Okay, can you speak up, please?
I'm not saying all the chapters, but could we get the important, just a summary of some of the chapters?
Oh, what's going to be on the exam?
Hit the
Well,
outline.
the exam to this point, the majority of the exam is going to focus on what we've covered since our last exam. Okay? So
Which,
it's going
so,
to be, excuse me?
So what chapter, that's like 13, 14, 15, and 16?
Yes, ma'am. That will be what it will be focused on. The majority of the questions will be on that.
Are we going into 17 and 18?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Oh.
The majority of the exam will be focused on what we covered from our last exam. Okay, it will be, physiology and anatomy, genetics, nutrition, reproduction. And then the rest of it, I do have to have it comprehensive. So the remainder of the exam will be comprehensive. So if you study, I will be nice. I'm probably, more than likely, will not give you the old exam time. Now, these last 2 class periods, I can kind of hit some of the high more of the specific interest. Start chapter 17.
Messi,
Go ahead.
we can't hear you.
Okay. Chapter 17 talks about growth and development. Chapter 18 talks about lactation. Chapter 19 is animal behavior. Chapter 20 is animal health and disease. I guess that's 20 and 21 is diseases and animal health. 22 is environment. That's then it goes into animal products and food safety. So we've covered the majority of the chapter of the book. So, I can hit any of these chapters you want that are of interest to you guys, or we can talk about real life management of livestock. Greg wants some real life scenario. What
I'm
about
afraid.
you guys? What about you guys?
We're going with Greg.
All right. Okay. We will. We've looked at this stuff from a science standpoint. Let's take a look at it from a practical standpoint now. That's what we'll. Is it okay for everybody if I use cattle as an example?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll just talk about some management stuff Tuesday and try to apply this stuff to what we learned.
So will our exam be in here on Thursday or in the LRC?
Your exam, you will take your final exam when it is scheduled for your college.
Oh, okay.
I do not know when your exam schedule is for Patrick Henry or for Southside. And I've got to get the finals made up. I've been working on them. I just don't have them to get them to Tom and John. So anyway, if y'all have any questions, any other questions for me before I let you go?
No, sir.
All right. Y'all have a good weekend, and you guys have fun at the Red House.
We'll try to.
Go have fun. They'll probably have biscuits you can eat.
That's what I'm looking forward to. That's the only thing I can buy.
What's that? They'll have a barbecue, or they'll usually have food there. They'll probably have something in there to sell food.
How do you turn it off?
Hey, you got it cut on that time. But
How do you turn it off?
you'll have fun. It'll cut off.
He put it on.
You better.
I don't know how to turn it off. You can catch him. Because I don't want to be pressing a lot of buttons. I pressed off. It's not going off. It says hold for 2 seconds.
Well, hopefully it's a picture. Get it fixed. me that biosecurity. Because I did not know. Uh, you may have, we can have some flexibility for a little bit. You're not allowed to have more than 2 or 3. All right. I don't think so. If you do, we can I'll work. When is your class? At what time? All right, it would be scheduled for Wednesday, December the 14th at 2 o'clock. So, so you want to talk? The thing with traffic control, well, think about it. What's the point of a biosecurity program? Okay, so we want them healthy, we want them safe, right? We want to prevent the spread of disease. We want to prevent any diseases at all, right? Possible that it's going to happen. We want to prevent intentional spread and unintentional spread, right? So by restricting access to your property, we can restrict that redneck from going on there and bring something down and kill sheep or put sheep up, right? Right. Or hopefully, what they really want to do is keep people safe, but they keep killing Wisconsin, you know, prevent people from going up there and sabotaging your equipment or killing your sheep, putting your hay. I'm sure you have. So I mean, it's just, you know, keep people off, keeping things locked up. So what did you do? What are you gonna do if you have an emergency outbreak? Right, but you're gonna separate probably because you don't know if it's contagious or not. No, you had a brother that died a few years ago. Okay. I ran into